As the youngest poker content creator, I have a lot to prove in this game. But does it really have to be with 7 deuce? I flew to Houston, Texas to play a massive poker game. And while my opponents are fueling up and getting ready for the action, I'm trying to find the perfect selfie angle to play into the fact that everyone thinks I suck at poker. Let them think what they want. I'm gonna win the most money out of all of them. Here's how I'm gonna do it. Today, I'm playing against other poker vloggers. And you can tell these motherfuckers are content creators. Like, I'm surprised someone didn't whip out a ring light. But seriously, all this really means is that they want action. So seat selection is gonna be really important. I draw seat 5, which is next to Pokerface Ash and Slick Rick. Since today we're buying in for $2,000 and normally I'm buying in for a sixth of that, they think I'm scared money. I intend to exploit that. I'll admit, the nit in me is praying not to get into any massive pots early, but it looks like that won't be possible, as we're dealt pocket aces and get 3-bet from on-tilt Nick in the small blind. I start thinking about what to do until Nick says,
"Chip stack, wow, this is crazy. These fucking coolers are sick."
You have to believe me, I was gonna call. And then he said that shit, and I did this. See, he's just asking me to 4-bet him. And in this case, I'm very happy to oblige. As expected, he quickly makes the call, and we head to an 8-8-3 flop. What would the silver say to do here? It doesn't matter, we have aces. It's literally the 3rd hand of the night, and we have something to prove. I'm not afraid of this check, Nick. I make it $550. And I've never known Nick to shy away from a fight, so he makes the call. The turn is another 8, and at this point I'm like, if you have quads, take my money, Nick. I'm all in for $850. To which he says,
"Be in for $850.
And I say, I might be the youngest, but I'm determined to prove that I'm not the worst here as Nick makes the call.
No raps.
And we fully double up on the 3rd hand of the day.
I mean, you did say these coolers are sick.
Yeah, that was the
aces.
Shortly after, I'm forced to play everyone's favorite hand. Alright, fine, but I'll only play it if I give off a massive tell that I'm strong here with my face. I really said. Pokerface Ash makes it $60 before I make it $200 with, you guessed it, Ace King. She calls and we go heads up to a board of deuce, deuce, 6. And I think the good news here is that we've seen a lot of dry boards, so we don't have to bet big to take it down. Bad news is I can't flop a pair to save my life. And I also can't seem to take it down with small C-bets as Ash makes the call. Turn is the Jack of Diamonds and it goes check, check, only to see the 5 of clubs on the river. Don't think I'd really be representing much here, nor do I think I can get called by worse. So, because I'm not bad at poker, I check behind, with enough showdown to be good sometimes. But when she slams those cards down like that, I know I don't have the best hand. Just like your Tinder date, this next hand's about to blow your brains out. Drew makes it 100, and it folds to me when I look down at 7 deuce offsuit. We are playing the 7 deuce game, so if I win this hand, I get an extra $50 from every player at the table. A squeeze here would look really strong, especially given my image. And there's only 2 people behind me, so it's really unlikely that they would wake up with a super strong hand. But how much should I make it? I definitely can't call out of position, so maybe 400 would do the trick? If you haven't realized by now, I have no fucking clue that it's my turn. All the poker pros have to be told it's their turn, right? At this point, I'm getting called for the memes if I raise, so I just fold.
But I didn't make it 400 here.
Oof. Okay, so at this point, we've won a big one and lost a big one. We're still up about $1,000, but I want to win all of the money at the table. So I 3-bet Pokerface Ash before getting 4-bet by Slick Rick. And then Nick and Llama make the call? What the f*** is going on? At this point, I think I just objectively mess up, because in this configuration, I think I just need to fold. But instead, I call and flop top pair. And as played, when Slick Rick bets and on-tilt Nick calls, I don't think we can fold just yet. So we make the call and see the 5 of spades on the turn. I check, Slick checks, and at this point, Nick's gone full hermit on us. He bets 1,075, and at this point, I just fold. All I gotta say is, well played, Nick. Trigger warning, this next hand contains llama violence. This next hand is the perfect hand to show what I'm made of, because we're playing the nit game. It's a game that rewards aggression and has the nits pay $25 to the rest of the table. But it's also the perfect place for me to show what I'm made of. So when Llama makes it 65 and Drew calls, I 3-bet to 250 with ace 10 off. Llama calls in position, but Drew ends up folding. And we go heads up to a flop of ace 10, 3, 2 spades. Weehaw, that's a match. So I bet $350 to get this date started. Llama must be sensing some chemistry too though, because he makes the call. The turn is the 2 of clubs, which doesn't change much and only makes my feelings for this hand grow stronger. So I bet $900. To be truthful, I think that bet sizing makes a lot of sense in relation to the pot, but it doesn't really make a lot of sense in relationship to his stack. But he goes all in anyway, which we quickly call and show him the bad news. We don't need to make this breakup any harder than it needs to be, as he's drawing dead and we scoop a $4,000 pot. At this point, we're up almost $3,000, and our opponents are starting to notice. So they start to employ a new strategy to win. Flirting with the dealer? That's my strategy. Guess I gotta go back to the basics if I want to win this hand. Caitlin straddled, drew limp, and I make it $80 on the button, before blowing a few kisses to the dealer. Old habits die hard, I guess. Both of them call and we go 3 ways to the flop of ace jack 6, giving us middle pair. It checks to us and we bet $125. Honestly, this next clip of Caitlin is me every time I don't flop a set. But Drew's not done with it just yet. He calls and we go to the turn of the queen of hearts. This is a card that really favors my range and I have removal to the straight. So when he checks, we're betting again for sure. This will allow us to evaluate rivers and decide whether or not we should check back and take our showdown value or bet again. But no need, because he ends up folding. On today's episode of What the Am I Doing, I present to you this next hand. Even though last hand there was a straddle and a limp, and we only raised to $80 in position, this time we're gonna make it $135 for absolutely no reason at all. Only Caitlin makes the call, and we head to a flop of 6-9-4 2 hearts. Unfortunate, as it removes 6-9 of hearts out of my range. Check, check to the 4 of clubs on the turn, where we check again, just cause we felt like it. The river's the 7 of hearts, and she leads out for $375. What is this girl repping? A flush? A 4? I don't know, I just f***ing fold. But I had to hit her with the...
Now you can say you want a hand on it.
Yeah, we're on the board. Hey.
At this point in the night, we're on hand 98, which means we only have a couple more hands left in the stream. It also means that people tend to get a little bit more risk averse when they're up, or take chances that they might not otherwise do when they're down. I'm in the small blind with ace jack of clubs, and we're playing the Nick game again, and I still have my button.
Gotta be something that you won't like.
What does that mean? If you want me to 4-bet, give me 0 win.
Let's play a big pot. Caitlin is currently stuck, so for all the aforementioned reasons, I size up a little bit because Poker Face Ash called as well and make it $275.
How bad do I have to be to profitably? I want to call you.
Ash folds as well, and we take down $155 of dead money and protect ourselves from the nit tax, just like a pro. Overall, we ended up making $2,675. We were a little on the tighter side, but when we were in pots, we played them aggressively. Finally, the stream ended, and all of the content creators beelined for their phones. I mean, how else was I gonna get all this chip porn? I then made my other content creators take the cringiest videos of me ever for some IG content and racked up and went to the cage. Now, if you book to win like that in Vegas, you're probably gonna go celebrate at the strip club. But in Houston, we're going to the karaoke bar. And one thing about me, I love karaoke. I showed up to that bar ready to show out. But when I saw Eddie take the stage, Bubba, wrap it up. I have never been uptown funked you up that hard in my life. When it came to poker, I think I did my best at proving to them that I'm not just some content creator. And if they can handle it, I will be back.